Maurice Jones-Drew, NFL Network analyst. He's also the color commentator for the Rams on radio, former NFL running back. NFL 100 all-time team. That series premieres this Friday at 8 Eastern on NFL Network, revealing the running backs. Best team in California right now is who, Mojo?
That's a good one. I'd probably have to say the San Francisco 49ers right now. It's hard to say that, but.
All right. You know what? I even forgot about San Francisco because I was talking about the Chargers, the Rams, and the Raiders. How about the second best team in California?
Right. I mean, with all the injuries that the Rams have and all those things, I mean, I'm going to have to say the Raiders. It seems like both Bay Area teams are actually playing very well, and their schedule, the Raiders' schedule is looking pretty fortunate. So they have a good opportunity to keep winning games and make the playoffs. And then the Niners are just finding ways to win right now. Obviously the Rams won last night, which was awesome, and more of a defensive battle game. And their defense is playing well, but they have a ton of injuries, as everyone knows, their offensive line and to their receiving core. So they're trying to get healthy, and they're scratching and clawing, but they're finding ways to try to stay in this playoff race, which is good. But I think you're going to have to win out to try to make the playoffs this year.
How much doubt is there about Jared Goff this year?
I think it's unfortunate that there's so much attention put on Jared Goff, and I think a lot of people, because he paid the quarterback a ton of money and all these different things, everyone's saying, "Oh, he's not playing well." Well, this is when you kind of take a deep dive into what's going on. The first 2 years, you have to remember they had the same five starting offensive linemen. Somewhat. I mean, I want to say Jamon Brown ended up getting replaced by Austin Blythe, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, it was, those guys played well and they did their job. They were able to run the ball, play action pass, and Jared didn't get much pressure in his face. Over the last 10 weeks, I think they've had 6 different combinations of starting offensive linemen. You can't run your same game plan. And I think that was which was so important last night to see the Rams come out in something completely different than they've ever ran before. I mean, they were a run-first team. They played defense. Coach McVay understood that, hey, we got to shorten this game and we got to, let our defense win it. So we're going to run the ball 3 times and punt. That's okay, which is very hard for any offensive-minded coach to do. Jared played exceptionally well last night. He had some really good throws. I think they threw the ball 18 times. He had some great shots down the field. They had a 55-yard touchdown called back where he threw probably what we call, in the neighborhood, we call that a dime or a dot. He threw that out there. And so I think he's getting a lot of unfair criticism because for any quarterback, if you get pressure in your lap, it's hard unless you're a mobile guy like Russell Wilson or Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, or Kyler Murray to kind of get out of the way and get on the run and make a throw. That's not Jared. Jared is a pocket passer, so he's going to try to slide in the pocket a little bit. But if you can't step up and step into your throw, no one's ever going to be that good.
Maurice Jones-Drew, former NFL running back, works for the NFL Network, joining us on the program. What's different about Lamar Jackson this year as opposed to last year?
So there's a bunch of things that are different, but it has zero to do with Lamar Jackson. I think first and foremost, the Baltimore Ravens this offseason did a phenomenal job of really reaching out to Louisville, the University of Louisville, and figuring out what they did to have Lamar be so special in college. Now, it takes a lot for a pro coach to do those type of things, to bring in some college schemes and different things, but you have such an exceptional talent. Like, you have to be able to utilize what he's been able to do. So that's one. I think that was phenomenal. They went out and they really committed to him. So, you bring in different tight ends, different type of receivers, speed guys that can run down the field because Lamar throws a great deep ball. He loves to throw those seam passes. They went out and got a running back to kind of complement what he does, right? So you got your Thunder and Mark Ingram and Gus Edwards to his Lightning. And so really they were all in, which you never see teams do. A lot of teams aren't equipped to go all in on that type of player. But what you're seeing now is the guy we saw a couple years ago who threw for 4,500 and rushed for 1,500. And so, right now they're playing with supreme confidence. and his ability to go out there and make you play 11-on-11 football, and his ability to make one person or two people miss in the open field has been the difference. And so when you have to account for a quarterback that can run and also throw the way he's throwing, and a team that's playing well defensively and special teams-wise, they're going to be tough to beat. I mean, I would have never thought they put up 41 on the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Right, but they are the team. Like, I thought the Texans were the team to beat in the AFC, and now my thought has changed because Lamar Jackson has become the player that you cannot scheme for. That you try to scheme for, you have one or two guys on him, but if you do that, similar to what Miami did, he'll beat you in the air as well. So I mean. What a draft, right? What a pickup for them to come back in the first round and pick him up, and for him to be playing the way he's playing.
Why do we have replay on pass interference? Why doesn't the NFL just say, you know what, we made a mistake here, we're going to table this?
Well, this is the thing. The NFL always want to try to be correct, right? And so you got to understand the law, though, or the rule behind the pass interference. Like, yeah, if it's as egregious as it was in the NFC Championship game, then yes, you can challenge that. These guys are challenging things that aren't that egregious. Like I get it. What happened yesterday with Hopkins, where the guy was all over his back. Like, yes, you should change that one because. But
that's embarrassing, Mojo. Like, if I don't see it in real time, and I see it on replay, how do I miss that on replay?
Again, they're trying not to, and this is one, they don't want that rule to affect the outcome of the game. They want to make sure that if the game is changed, again, like where Nickel Roby-Coleman literally like runs through the receiver and they don't call it, like that's something you can challenge and they'll take it back because it was so egregious. Some of these ones that people are challenging, I mean, guys are hand fighting. Like people don't understand, you can call holding and pass interference on every play if you want to. But it has to be so bad that, like a guy has to get blown up before the ball gets there or something like that in order for them to really take a look at it and overturn it.
It's embarrassing. And you're there to – they should never have implemented this in the first place. You just had a horrible call in the Rams-Saints game. That's all. You just had a horrible call.
I agree with you. Like, people, like, this is the funny thing. People, first of all, in our society, we always want someone to blame, right, when things don't go our way. We always want to find someone to blame instead of looking within and say, you know what, if I'm the Saints, we had an opportunity in overtime to try to win this thing. We didn't do it, right? Or in other deals, like, there was times there was calls that were missing that game that were on the Rams side as well, like a face mask on Jared Goff. But you can't like, everyone's human and people make mistakes. But for some reason in our society, it's okay to put blame on someone else. Like, no, look within. Hey, bro, like, you got the ball first in overtime. Maybe if you would have stopped worrying about the PI and focused on the game and not throw a pick, right, you might have won. And so I just think, for a lot of people, it's easy to blame the refs. Oh, the refs, it's horrible. They're human beings, and if you're down on that field and you see how fast these guys are running, and you see how like quick things are moving, like they're taught and trained to see certain things, and they're doing their best to do that. But sometimes they miss things. Like, people miss stuff every day in their life, and so I've never been one to blame the refs.
But if we have an opportunity to clean it up, Mojo, and we don't do it, then we're doing a disservice to what we're trying to, get right.
Well, and that's what I completely agree with you, Dan. Like, I don't think that rule should have been put in place.
Yeah.
I think that you should have said, look, we made a mistake. It happens. We move forward.
Yeah, I would love for them to say that now. Just say, upon further review, we made a mistake here, and we're going to table this until we figure out how to maybe announce it over the PA during a game. The NFL always sides with the fans. Like, if the fans want something, it feels like the fans get something. If I said to fans, do you want to continue to have pass interference review, I'm going to guess 90% would say, let's get rid of this rule because you don't implement it correctly. So let's just get rid of it. And then the NFL can say, hey, upon further review, we're going to get rid of this rule.
Well, I think that they'll probably talk about that at the next
competition
after.
Yeah, competition committee.
But this is the thing, though. People have to understand this. Even when I was playing, which a couple of years ago, if you saw a penalty that wasn't a penalty or you saw a penalty that wasn't called, you could turn it into the league, and the league would send it back and tell you either, yes, we messed up, or no, this was the right call. And I've lost games because of that. And then I've won games because of it. And so it always balances itself out. Like, it doesn't, I've won a couple games because of some calls that we didn't get or that we got, and I lost some games because of some calls we didn't get. And then you go and turn it in, and then they'll be like, yeah, sorry, you guys probably should have got this call, and it could have affected the outcome of the game, but it is what it is. And so the league has been doing that for years. And so I think trying to make these different calls in the course of the game where there's time, because you got to remember the NFL is not trying to make the game any longer. They're trying to keep it between 3.5 and 4 hours.
Yeah.
And so, when you start being able to challenge everything and instant replay this and that, the game is going to continue to stretch out. And so they're trying to find ways to condense these games as well.
All right, finish this sentence before I let you go. If the Chargers win tonight.
Oh, that's they got a chance to. I don't know. It's hard because it's funny you say that. First of all, Melvin Gordon's back running well, which is good. I'm glad to see that. But the Chargers, the way, it's crazy the way they treat their players as an organization, right? Like, and I said this before, if Melvin Gordon's one of our better players, and I get it, you may have a different value on him. But if this is a year, like we've been hearing, like, oh, this is their year, they're in their 4-year window with Phillip Rivers, like, we got to go get it, we got to make these things happen, why wouldn't you just pay him and just understand that you're in your 4-year window and you're just trying to get there instead of having this long, drawn-out holdout, all these different things go on. You lost 2 or 3 games because you fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line, right? Like, all these different things could have been out. You could have really been in the race, in the hunt. And so I think for me, if they win tonight, they're back in it, but they've dug themselves such a big hole that they have to climb out of a tough place.
Yeah, because the Raiders are, their schedule seems a little user-friendly. Yeah, they seem like they got a decent schedule there, user-friendly.
Yeah, you call it user-friendly?
Yeah.
I call it Raider-friendly.
Okay.
It's nice. It's a nice schedule. You get a lot of your tough opponents at home too, which is awesome. It's tough to go from East Coast to the West Coast.
Hey, it's good to talk to you. What are you benching nowadays?
I haven't benched. I'm working on trying to get to this Spartan race, so I'm not really going for like tough weight, like 300 pounds or anything. I'm doing reps of 15 right now, so I just did 225 15 times.
All right.
I'm just trying to get endurance. I'm trying to build my endurance up, if that's okay.
That's not bad. But I got a guy on my staff who does that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, it's crazy. He should go play in the NFL then. There's a lot of guys that can't do that. Chris McCaffrey did it 8 times.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Wait, you calling out Christian McCaffrey?
No, I'm just saying. Like,
it sounded like you were calling out Christian McCaffrey as being soft.
Go out there and ball and think he can do it. Oh, I would never say that. He's right now, himself and Dalvin Cook are doing a great job of carrying the torch for the backs. And then, obviously Zeke Elliott and all these other guys are bringing in their part as well. But it's very interesting to see Christian McCaffrey being like one of the only weapons on the Panthers doing what he's doing is amazing. So hopefully he can keep it up and win that MVP, which I know is going to be tough with what Lamar's doing, but he's doing some exceptional stuff, and then Dalvin as well.
Good to talk to you, Mojo.
Always good to see you. Always good to talk to you. Will I see you this year at the Super Bowl?
I'll be there. I don't know. The Rams will be there.
If the Rams, first of all, if they sneak in and get in these playoffs, they're looking like they're changing a little philosophy. They may be able to do that.
Okay.
You best believe they get in that dance. We. And I say that with as if I'm not French. We will see you in the Super Bowl.
Thank you, Mojo.
All right, see you later.
That's Maurice Jones-Drew, NFL Network analyst, Rams apologist, former NFL running back.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.